My name is Lolo the Puzzlo, and this is Media Delta. Hello, and welcome to Media Delta. We are doing something that I'm going to fully admit is incredibly an ass pull in terms of how we are doing it. Mainly, the main reason why we're doing it is because I want to talk about it, because this is not something that is inherently video game related, because there is no video game based on the Guyver, but there is this does have a little bit of a tie to some various games. For example, the reason why I was thinking of the Guyver in particular, like tying it to a game, is that Bloody Roar seems to have a lot of it seems to have been an influence for that game, but especially in 3, where you have Zion, who is practically his altered form is basically the Guyver. Also, they refer to him as, I believe it's Zoanthropes in
Yes.
Bloody Roar, and there's Zoanoids here.
Yeah, in Bloody Roar, it's Zoanthropes.
But it's kind of a similar thing. So we're going to start our look at the franchise, which is the Guyver, with this movie. I originally wanted to start with the Guyver 1, which is the movie that is just, I believe it's 1991, that was just called The Guyver, which is a live action movie. That would actually have another tie-in to a video game that we have done, which we took a look, I believe in one of the marathons, we took a look at a game called Screaming Mad George's Paranoia Escape, which that game was, done by, or helmed by Screaming Mad George, who is a special effects, kind of wizard, from what I've heard. And The Guyver was a movie that he worked on. But unfortunately, due to some various things, namely the fact that it wasn't available for free on YouTube, I decided instead to do Guyver Dark Hero, which there is actually an interesting tie into video games, although it's to a game we technically have not done yet, but it's so famous that I might as well. It's one of those, it's public knowledge things. This was a movie that was in fact the first movie, and one of his first acting roles, to star David Hayter, who, if you're not familiar with who David Hayter is, if you're into games, you've probably heard his voice, because he is the voice of was the voice of Solid Snake, and also Naked Snake. But yes, and yeah, this was his first acting role. So there is a very tenuous tie to games, but I will fully admit it is incredibly tenuous.
You did thinner than this.
You're
Yeah.
wrong.
Taxi's
Lolo.
Castle to fucking Mr. Lawrence is the
Yeah.
Lolo, you're fucking wrong. Everyone knows the voice of Snake is Kiefer Sutherland. You fucking idiot. You absolute
Wow.
noob.
fucking. Do you want me to kick him out right now? I swear to God.
I was going to say, but the less we talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, the better.
I'm fucking hating that game, but go on.
But yes, I think because the thing is also with the Guyver, I also should very much clarify, it is the Guyver. The franchise is just Guyver, which is Guyver. It has nothing to do with MacGyver. That is a completely different thing. But to kind of describe what Guyver is, it's kind of a toku, originally a manga that has been adapted into various other things, including these movies. Basically, the general gist is that there is a normal dude who comes across this weird, pulsating, disc-looking thing that has a bunch of, almost kind of looks like tentacles coming out of it, but then whenever the person picks it up, it gets attached to him, and he can transform into a set of bio armor that is referred to as the Guyver.
Bio boosted armor, the Guyver.
Yes. And then there is the Kronos Corporation, who is the evil corp that is doing experiments to turn people into monsters, which are the Zoanoids, which are the main villains of this franchise. That's basically the Guyver in a nutshell.
You know the drill.
Yes. So we took a look at the Guyver Dark Hero, which technically is the sequel to the first movie, although I don't think you really need to watch the first movie to get the gist of this movie because it's kind of its own story with very tenuous ties to the first one. Although the first one is interesting because it has like Mark Hamill in it, it has Jimmy Walker of all people in it. Also, it's kind of a goofy, fun movie, but that was not. This one tried to take a darker tone. And I guess before we kind of get more into it, I was not the only one who watched this, so please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Axe, and I'm here for dramatic spins towards the camera.
Hi, I'm Carnival, and it's good to see where the direction of Toku for the past 2 decades come from this movie.
I'm Torpotypist, and hello, Quarry, my old friend.
Yes, it's not. It's actually not. It's not the quarry, but I don't know how they managed to find another quarry that's not the quarry.
I come to rock with you again.
Yes. So yeah. This is an interesting movie. I kind of got it. It's. We'll get into it a little bit further on once we, have had our discussions, but this certainly was a thing. That also was a lot longer than I was expecting it. It's a 2-hour-long movie.
2 hours and change.
Yeah. Which is pretty long for a movie of this kind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'm trying to think of who I want to start with first. Since this is technically a Toku franchise, well, not Toku franchise, it's not part of the
Just give it
Toku
to Carnival
universe.
already.
Yeah, it's. I think Carnival might have an interesting insight for this one. So, Carnival, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this was great. I enjoyed this movie a lot. There's a lot of the middle that could be cut out, but whenever an action scene actually started, it's like, yeah, this is great. This is the kind of thing I've come to appreciate and love about Toku. Because as I've mentioned before, this is the first acting role, major stunt role for one Koichi Sakamoto, who, for just ease of reference, was on Power Rangers from 1997 to 2003, and then has been on Kamen Rider and Super Sentai intermittently from 2010 to currently, and additionally doing some Ultraman shows. So this has been a very much a I see. I appreciate this movie a lot for giving one of the things of a lot of shows that are very much enjoy giving the guy his start.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing how I took a very brief glance at the casting for this one. I knew that Screaming Mad George was not involved with this one. The co-director for the first one was the main director for this one. But yeah, David Hayter is obviously one of the more interesting casting roles. But yeah, I did not realize that there was actually someone who did Toku stuff, legit Toku stuff, in this movie.
And it really shows, because when any of the fight scenes happen, it's like, there's the flip, there's the explosion, there's the jump.
It's yeah,
it is classic Toku stunt acting.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it for it.
Anything else in particular stand out?
This is actually notable for being very true to the source material. Like a lot of the opening sequences, they even just straight up copied some panel for panel shots from just how the Guyver originally found the transformation disc in the opening.
Yeah, it is. There are some things like that. It really kind of keeps the source material, but also it's kind of story-wise a pretty big deviation. For example, Sean Barker was a character that was created exclusively for the movies, because I believe the person who finds it in the anime and manga, I know his first name's Sho, and I can't remember what his last name is. But yeah, it's very much a Japanese school, kind of high schooler finds it, and it's him, where Sean Barker is just kind of a dude. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much all of what Sean is. I can't remember if he's like what he was. Well, granted, I have unfortunately not seen the first movie, so it doesn't really go into detail who Sean was. But he kind of seems just like a dude.
Yeah.
Another thing that they kind of show it, although that's not really a thing. Whereas whenever the Guyver turns into the Guyver, or I should say, whenever Sean turns into the Guyver, or really technically show because we're talking about the original, there's a giant energy orb that surrounds him and like destroys anything it touches. Whereas this, it just kind of becomes this weird tentacly set of pieces of the
Comes out
armor.
his back and it's fucking bizarre, makes a bunch of slapping noises. Yeah. Also, he just says Guyver. It's really great just hearing David Hayter yell Guyver and then just slapping noises.
Yes.
So if I remember correctly, in the original, it's more does the same thing, except he's not saying it; he's yelling it.
Sounds like a lot of my fantasies.
Yes. Anything else?
Not that I can think. Oh wait, there is one thing. Costume design, real good costuming all around. Just looks like they went straight to Japan and just said, "All right, tell us how to get this kind of look for your costumes."
Teach us how to make our actors as uncomfortable as possible.
I can't remember what the names of a lot of them, but I do like recognize the suit designs as like they look pretty close to what the originals looked like. I believe they're original like creatures, but they look pretty closely to what the stuff in the anime and manga look like.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So yeah, I think that's it for now.
All right. I would ask, what did you think about this movie?
So I think we've kind of established already that I'm not a big Toku fan. The most I've done is really Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And even then, I kind of petered off near the end of that. But like, I liked it. It had this weird energy to it, and I don't want to. I hate to compare it to this movie because this movie's actually really terrible, and this movie is not. But at times, it had the energy of that old movie Werewolf with Joe Estevez, that Mystery Science Theater lampooned. There were just a bunch of scenes that felt like it had the kind of that same cadence, that same like energy that movie had in certain areas. It was just that's all I could think of during a lot of like the scenes after the start, because it starts very weird. Like this movie starts off with like some extremely graphic fighting and people getting their throats slit, fucking blood everywhere. You know,
This movie is like surprisingly graphic.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, I even said in the chat, I was like, oh, it's gonna be this kind of violent, okay. And I was not prepared for the level of violence that they decided to put into the first 20 minutes of the movie. And then, like, Loa, you mentioned that, and you're correct. The next 90 minutes is just like very, very dry scenes that are kind of like there's not a lot of action to them. It's mostly setting up the characters, the situation, the location, the discovery that they uncover, and then it's a slow build up to the actual the reveal of the villain, the reveal of the monsters, the attacks of the monsters, and that's when things kind of amp up at the third act of the movie.
Yes, the first hour of the movie, which can be described as hot archaeologists in your area looking to fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just great because David Hayter's character is completely out of place in all these people, but they're just like, yeah, no, we'll just take him and it's fine, whatever. Just let him run around. Let him be David
got
Hayter.
A super smooth, kind of baby face at this point too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tend to do this very often, but David Hayter, young David Hayter, hot.
I actually looked it up. Because I knew he was younger, obviously. I did not realize how young. He was 25.
I mean, damn. I mean, he's still hot now, but woo!
I mean, he has a different energy to him now. This was like very very smooth.
Yeah, no, like he had this very kind of slick attitude towards him that everybody sort of gravitated. Like, yeah, you know what? He probably shouldn't be here, but fuck it, we'll just keep him here. He's good eye candy. He's good to have around. And I love the acting in this. I love it because it's so B grade, but it's B grade in a very good way. It's entertaining. It's kind of like I'm gonna go back to another Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing. This Island Earth. It always brings me back to the part at the end where Exeter stands in front of the two and he tries to tell that mutant to get away. It's like, get back. And then they're just like, acting. And that's what I feel with a lot of these scenes. I feel like there's just this really B grade, just acting going on. And like, there's one scene where Hader's talking to, I guess, his girlfriend or his original love interest, and they're having a back and forth. They're bickering, and then she says something. He looks at her and he pirouettes. He perfectly 180 to touch, like with his hands on the tree, and it's the most dramatic bullshit I've seen, and it's so great.
He does the soap opera thing, and it's
does
great.
The soap opera turn, and I'm like, yes, I am here for this because it's stupid, but it works.
But it's such a good contrast too, because the woman playing his ex could not act to save her life and was incredibly stiff and monotone the whole fucking time.
Very wooden, very unlikable. I couldn't stand her, but just he does this perfect pirouette straight out of Days of Our Lives, and I was just like, yes, please give me that and more. And then the bodysuit stuff's pretty cool. It's a really cool bodysuit, The monsters, they were kind of give and take. The one lady's dad looked like a crawfish to me.
Yeah.
Like little things. And the other one kind of looked like a fucked up rhino. And then the last one looked like a weird insect. I forget what the main villain looked like. It's very brief.
It kind of that is the one thing I don't like that you lose a little bit in the live action is just due to the way that live action does lighting and all that, and you're not looking at like an animated or like drawn medium, is that the monsters kind of look samey. Like it's really hard to differentiate between. Whereas like obviously if it's animated, it's a lot more
color.
Yeah, color really helps.
Yeah, the Guyver suit looked really cool, but like the monsters, they kind of blended together for me. Like very same color patterns, similar body structures. Just like the faces were obviously different, and they moved slightly different, but at the same time they all kind of had they almost had kind of like a similar moveset between each of them. If they had done something a little,
it's Toku.
Yeah, I know. But if they'd done something just a little different between them to set them apart, I think that would have they would have stood out more. But that's just how I feel about the costumes. The story, it's interesting.
It's an excuse.
Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, I don't think they ever did they actually explain the bulging, pulsating shit on his back?
Yeah, that's where the Guyver is implanted.
I mean, it's where the Guyver is implanted, but the thing that I believe that it's like, I can't exactly remember what the Guyver backstory is, what it actually is, but I know that
I can explain that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Guyver, originally some aliens from Uranus came down to Earth and messed around with it because they wanted to create super soldiers. Eventually, they made humans and then create the Guyver units. But oops, they're too powerful and are immune to our mind control. We're going to leave. We're going to leave. Just leave and never come back so they don't destroy us all. So Kronos then originally starts finding out about the old science that's left behind and starts doing evil Toku organization stuff to take over the world.
Yeah, so they had a couple scenes where he was trying to be rid of the Guyver thing, but they don't really pan out much in terms of that sort of sea story. It he goes into the ship and he's like, yeah, I want to be gone with this power, and then a couple minutes later he's like, all right, I'm gonna use this power to save the world, whatever, I'm in it now. They kind of dropped that plot point pretty quickly. But otherwise I think the story is pretty solid. It's kind of funny having archaeology and it's like this super serious like group of people, and then it's like, oh, but it's aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, but don't forget they're like, what was it, like the Outlaws of Archaeology or something?
Yeah.
Because
Like-
they researched ancient alien bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say it right now. I think this is a better archaeology alien story than fucking Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. I'm just gonna
I will
say it right now.
fucking pin you down and beat your ass.
Don't promise me a good time. But I don't know. Like, I liked the movie. I liked most of the cast. It's David Hayter. It's kind of hard to not like David Hayter, even when it's his first role. He still seems to know what he's doing, and when he's in a scene, like he pulls it off. He doesn't really chew the scenes. I noticed he's a little dippy, but like it's not like Tim Curry level. Of
I mean,
just, like,
you know him as Solid Snake. You've seen you basically
Yes.
understand his acting in this. It's about
Yeah.
the same level.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, from I'd say from start to finish, there's some stuff I would take out, but I mean, other than that, like it was pretty good for a 2-hour movie. It kept my interest, and ended pretty well. So yeah, I'd say this one's kind of a slam dunk.
All right. Torpo.
So, well, how is it that you described this to me again? It sucks and I love it.
Yes, it's like I like watching after the first like little bit. Which the one thing that I was bummed about that they don't go over is talking about the super cocaine that they invented for this thing that could be melted into plastic, which is like, oh, that's a weird subplot, but they don't really do anything with it. But yeah, basically I was like, yeah, this
Okay,
movie's
really
good.
Really quick though, it's not that they melt it into plastic; it's they mix it with the plastic.
Oh, right, and it can be returned back to 100% pure cocaine.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, we mix it with the plastic, we mold it into a shape, and then you melt it down, and it's pure again. No, that's
It's not.
it's not how it fucking works.
That's a story for a different movie. That's not this one. But yeah, after that first little intro bit, I'm like, this movie sucks. It's great. Because you could tell, like, right off that first scene, you know exactly what. Because especially it's like after he just slices the drug lord or whoever the dude's neck was, and then he carves the Guyver into the thing with the laser beam eyes, which they don't use in the movie.
Only time he ever uses the forehead laser. The only time.
It's to carve his sweet ass name in the bars. Which is how the title screen or the title card drops, and it's really good.
It's really good too because they had to really overlay that shit because you could not read it otherwise.
It was really good. But yeah, so yes, that is what I originally thought.
I just brought that up because that's exactly how I feel about this. This movie is pure fucking schlock the whole way through. Like, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. The action sequences are a fun level of dumb, and I think a lot of it's pretty enjoyable, even if there's a huge lull in like the first half of the movie. Like nothing happens until the second hour, aside from the first fight. But I think it's a really fun movie. I found it really enjoyable in a lot of regards. It's pure fucking toku in terms of like choreography and the like, and that in my opinion makes it very charming. Surprisingly gory when he cuts that man the fuck open.
Yeah,
Like, not even just the beginning. Like there are Zoanoids he cuts the fuck open with his really dumb, terrible elbow blades.
the high frequency blades.
Yeah,
The high frequency elbow blades.
he cuts off the head of one of them. Though they don't actually show it being severed, but they do show it falling in like the way they frame the
Yeah, and he fucking straight up guts a man.
So
Yeah.
I think the head cut is actually a reference to the anime or the manga, because that is actually how Sho defeats the first Zoanoid he comes across. Which they also do this. I'm pretty sure they also do the thing where the Guyver has the monster by the hands, and they're doing like holding the hands, and the Guyver just breaks the arms of the other one.
Oh yeah, no, he had the one by the hands, and then he pushes forward, and the hands snap back, and the bone pops out with all the blood. Like,
So
Damn!
that is an homage to the events basically that are the first episode of both the OVA and the 2005 anime.
Guyver as a show and manga has always been like, we're gonna go ultra violence. and it's great.
Every morning it wakes up and chooses violence.
Yes. There is a lot of monsters in the Guyver that are basically, I can just be decimated to an arm, and as long as I forgot what other monster works like that, but or like thing where it's as long as there is like
A
a
single
certain
cell.
body part, as long as a single cell exists, it will just regenerate. Yeah. Like even the final, I think the one thing is I believe that what they were going for the final, like with the main bad guy of this movie, I think they were trying to go for like enzyme, or they were trying to go for one of the Guyver killers, but I don't think there was kind of an original design in this one. I can't remember because I'm not super familiar with that arc of the Guyver.
Yeah, neither am I, because Guyver, which still technically is serialized, except he's one of the mangaka that got the chronic illnesses, and thus he's probably gonna die without finishing it.
Literally fucking cause pain by doing this shit. Yeah, no. Hunter x Hunter will never finish either.
Yep. Yeah, because there's been several times where which actually I forgot what his name is, but the mangaka for the Guyver is
Yoshiki Takaya.
Yes. So they have repeatedly had to take breaks due to pretty failing health. But I'm pretty sure they're still with us. So
Yes, they're still currently with us. It's just, again, as of 2016, there have been no new chapters with nothing, like, because Takaya doesn't work with assistants, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's not so like the life of a mangaka is fucking terrible to begin with. And then some people get old. And you mix the two together, it's not pretty.
Yeah. He's currently 61 right now.
Also, I'm just reading up on him. Apparently, he got the start as a artist under the name Morowo Chimi.
It started as a what?
A hentai artist.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
that-
that's a lot of fucking
that's-
people.
that's like normal.
I don't know
Yeah.
that.
So to also some other ones that are like that. Masamune Shiro is also another one that is, and you can tell that's the Ghost in the Shell person. That one definitely Ghost in the Shell and Appleseed.
There's
That
a
one,
lot of fucking Ghosts in the Shell.
yes, straight up also started as hentai. Actually, if I remember correctly, didn't the guy who does Azumanga Daioh in Yotsuba and I think he also started out as a hentai artist.
I mean, I'm gonna just say it's probably easier to find people who didn't than the other way around.
There's some really weird ones that it's like you look, it's like, oh, okay.
There's some obvious ones too, though, like fucking Tex-Mex and Black
Tex-Mex.
Lagoon.
Yeah, Tex-Mex and Black Lagoon. That one's definitely. You look at Revy, it's like, yep,
Yeah,
Titty sells.
because that's like a lot of it's honestly it's a much more sustainable way of making money than like a serialized manga.
Yeah, everybody wants porn.
Yeah, and I don't think that he ever got in. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I know exactly. He definitely got it. I don't think he did manga though, but Osamu Tezuka, the Astro Boy guy, Blackjack, did that, and also releasing 2 straight up X-rated movies, back in the 70s and 60s. But yes, it is actually a surprisingly common practice.
It's money.
Yeah, it's money, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Do not begrudge him at all.
Yeah, it just did you look at it as like, oh, that's right, yeah, it's a different scene than over here.
I mean, sometimes I look at my paycheck and go, man, I wish I could draw porn.
No, man, you wish you could draw furry porn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some
Furries have like an endless amount of money.
Some suspiciously wealthy furries.
And then you too can draw Fox and Falco.
God, no.
The size of skyscrapers, because that's a thing for some reason.
That's the joke.
Why is it the second time that it's come across? Anyway, that's also you who brought it up. I should point out too. Like,
Good, perfect.
I was due. So anyway, the Guyver.
Yes.
Good movie.
Guyver. Killer was like,
Let's take hard back.
but yeah, no, it was a fun
They're
movie.
coming
Like
back.
the plot was kind of there for the most part. It existed. You had your main character, David the Guyver hater, having to deal with existential like problems, you know. Oh no, I'm the Guyver, all I do is kill people, which is a funny one. His ex is like, oh, all you do is kill people. And he's like, no, it's the suit. She's like, no, it's you. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, yeah, I kill people, but I kill zoonoids, and that's it. And it's me. I'm the suit.
But he didn't, because at the beginning of the movie, he killed a bunch of humans.
Yeah.
He split a dude's throat open.
It's just such a weird character change.
Mm.
And the best part is, like, when you see it happen, the reason for the character change makes no fucking sense. Because basically at one point, the entire plot is basically David Hayter's been having dreams of strange cave paintings. So he heads over to fucking, what was it, Ohio?
Utah.
That was it. Oh yeah, I remember fucking yeah. But he heads over to Utah to see the cave. Inside the cave are a bunch of strange paintings he's been seeing in the dream. Which the whole reason he went there is because he saw it on some shitty fucking God.
Local access television.
Yeah,
Not even local access television. It was one of those shows that are all about like I think like the National Enquirer kind of deal. Like that kind of pure fucking paranoid garbage. But yeah, no, so he was watching this just about all kinds of like urban legends and shit like that and that kind of news. And he goes to Utah, fucking schmoozes with the lady and gets onto the dig site because he met her at a fucking gas station. And then while he's there, he uncovers the paintings and eventually they discover that, oh no, there's an alien spaceship underground here. And then come to find out the people that the archaeologists were working for were zoonoids. And they wanted the Guyver unit from inside of the ship, which they took. Yada yada. Drama. Guyver kills more zoonoids. Yada yada. And eventually, while still dealing with this conflict, after having murdered a bunch of zoonoids, like 3 of them at that point, I think, he goes onto the ship, communes with the ship via the Guyver armor, and learns the dark past of the Guyvers, which is, as Carnival said, aliens came to Earth to make super soldiers, create humans, gave them the Guyver armor. Oh no, they rebelled. Aliens fucked off. And also, zoonoids have been with us this entire time. And so that's fucking whatever. And for some reason, that just in David Hayter's brain solidifies, ah, yes, I'm the protector of Earth, and I'll kill all the zoonoids for some reason.
Also, there's that plot point where it's like he finds out there's more zoonoids, but it turns out he only killed a small group of them in the east side of the United States. There's a whole another group in the west side of the United States. Like, there's sects everywhere.
Being run by this evil corporation with some evil white dude at the head, like evil old white dude. It's
To
great.
be fair, that's straight up from the manga. It's like
yes.
at one point, Sho ends up killing the Japanese head, and he's like, "Ah, great, I'm happy." And then it's like, "No, you moron, you absolute fool! If they're powerful enough to have a secret organization, a multinational corporation, do you think just killing your local affiliate's gonna stop them? No."
Yeah. Did they actually like reconcile the second Guyver disc that they found, the damaged
Yes, they
disc?
do. They do that really fast, actually.
Okay, because I feel like I
come
missed
to
it.
find out, we just find out pretty much exactly as it happens that the Guyver disc was damaged, as well as Zoonoids dons it, and he just looks like, what if the Predator was a Guyver, and it looked like shit.
Okay.
Because it was damaged, he was constantly chittering and was very, very promptly got his ass kicked in and then shot with the boob beam and died.
Yeah, I'm glad that they managed to get the Mega Smasher in at one point, which is
Yes.
the dumbest weaponry, but also kind of awesome.
Imagine getting titty blasted into oblivion. That's the
There
Mega
is-
Smasher.
There is no way that he can like use that thing without making him look like he's about to flash the opponent.
Yeah, he literally rips his chest open to reveal the boo-boo beneath.
I wish somebody would destroy me.
Except that was just it is just
It's full of some very weird but interesting scenes.
But yeah,
Look,
so like the
I'm
whole
just-
Guyver unit problem that was being mentioned the whole damn film amounted to fucking nothing and was actively detrimental, and it makes you wonder why anyone gave a shit in the first place. Also, he sent the ship to space, and that's kind of just how it ends.
I mean, of all the other option there was given to the United States government. So
Yeah, and he tells the fucking U.S. agent, no, and then leaves, and then the U.S. agent just smiles like, oh, that crazy kid.
let's be real. The U.S. agent is literally just like, I'll just let him go. He had a hard fight. We'll go bug him later. It's not like we
He's
don't
just
know.
along for the fucking ride that entire film.
Yeah,
It's really funny, especially that actor who portrayed like the FBI guy. Because apparently all he does, like, I don't believe that he had like, or I don't know if he had like a like past life as a like a cop, but all he does is cops. If you look at his filmography, it's kind of fascinating how this one person just ends up being, and he's done a lot of stuff. Every time he is some sort of cop. Okay, apparently he's a doctor in one thing in
Dr. Cop.
the deformation of Myrna Brown, whatever that is.
Dr. Cop. He's a cop who's a doctor. He has a doctor in copology.
Yeah, it was even a cop in Glow, well, a security guard. But yeah,
God. Also, don't forget the time that the Guyver's helmet gets erect. That was weird.
yeah.
Just gonna extend orb.
Oh,
As I
right, yeah,
communicate with
that
the
part.
spaceship.
Yes. God.
He's never been harder in his life.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn it.
Anyway, do you have any other thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, no, it's a fun film. It's, as I said, pure fucking schlock. Absolute 100% schlock. It is not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Which is a phrase I feel like I say a lot on here. But gonna have that one also fucking tattooed above the crack of my ass. You know, fucking game sucks, music slaps. It's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
Yes.
I mean, there are worse tramp stamps.
yes.
I thought you were gonna get that like done on your tombstone.
Both really.
Tombstone is actually just an engraving of a tramp stamp.
Yeah, what is a tombstone other than just a tramp stamp for dead people?
I mean, I can't argue against that, but also I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
It also makes the acclaimed Shadow Man 2 marketing campaign seem a little more fucked up.
Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna get a tramp stamp. Here lies Andy, pepperoni and cheese.
Tramp stamp's just the picture of Shadow Man.
God.
Play Shadow Man 2 coming soon.
God.
Name
Where's
your
my
child
25
Velvet
grand?
All right. So I already said what I particularly thought this movie, and I still feel like it is entirely my thought. This movie is bad. This movie's badly made, and it's awesome because it's badly made. And I shouldn't say that in the sense that it's like there was some interesting choices made with this movie, which one that I'm surprised we have not talked about yet, which is what I want to bring up. Sound design in this movie is fantastic.
it literally slaps. It literally fucking slaps. Whoosh.
Yeah, it's great thinking of David Hayter in the Twin Snakes remake of Metal Gear Solid because there are jet noises everywhere.
Yeah, okay, so like each creature in person makes different noises for combat, but like the Guyver is always making jet noises all of the fucking time for everything it does, and it's so good.
Okay, but what about that one scene when he's in the Guyver suit and he's just staring? I forget who he's staring at. He just stands there, and then two parts on the sides of his mouth just shoot fucking steam out of them for absolutely no reason.
It's always done that. It's always done that. That's the Guyver, baby.
Yeah, that is something that happened to think, but also it's just really goofy because it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Also, I quite like. There was the one Zoanoid who, whenever it made noise, was multiple animals layered, which all of them were. But one of those was a stock cat noise that would always play, like in the background. That was really good.
It's great because it's like it was like, listen, like, is something off in the background or something? No, it's just making stock cat noises, and then also an elephant appeared.
Yeah, well, because like all of the noises for the Zoonoids were just like various stock sound effects for animals layered. It's like one of them had the elephant layer, the other one had like the low key cat noise, one of them had lion noises on top of other stuff. It was befuddling. So it was really great when you hear this clash of cat noise and jet noise coming together. It was a good movie.
Yes.
But yeah, no, the sound design was how can we get away with paying as little as possible? We have all these animal noise sound libraries and jet noises, but how do we make them unique? I know, we'll just layer all of these stock noises, because they were all stock. These were 100% all fucking stock. These were taken from like stock libraries they had just laying around, easy to access, cheap as fuck.
Look,
was
this
great.
movie had no budget, so
Actually, now that I have IMDb up, did this movie actually even like? Oh wait, never mind. I'm
this
sorry.
was directed TV.
Oh, was it DirecTV?
I think so, if I remember correctly.
Oh, let's find out. God, yeah, this certainly was this was a film.
It is
maybe
direct to
TV.
video.
Oh, it is direct to video. Okay.
Right.
Oh, let's see. Does it give a budget? I don't think it gives a budget. Oh yeah, it does. $900,000,
Nice.
which for a 2.5, like a little over 2 hour long movie, is not much.
I do want to say also that we mentioned that there was a previous movie that it does reference a bit. This movie was actually also made in a response to the first movie, because they felt that the first, like one of the criticisms of the first movie is it was too goofy, too comedic. So this one they made it a lot more serious in response to that, as well as leaning in more on the darker aspects of Guyver. So it went from a PG-13 rating to an R rating.
Yes.
I think they're better for doing that, honestly.
Yeah.
Also, David Hayter really enjoyed this role. Like, really enjoyed it.
You could see it. Like,
Yep.
in every scene, he's having the time of his life.
Which actually that definitely reminds me of something, that there's actually another interesting bit of David Hayter trivia in this. So the main bad guy has a lady kind of assistant, if this is the character that I'm thinking of, that was played by Marissa Cody. Marissa Cody and David Hayter are actually husband and wife now. They actually met on this movie, and they are still married, as far as I know.
It's a good story. It's nice. You like to see it.
Yeah. There was also, because we were talking about, someone in our chat brought up a interesting tweet that David Hayter posted. It was like, yeah, apparently he was working, I forgot with what. Let's see. He was working on the X-Men movies, because David Hayter, like, actually, he's not just Solid Snake. He does screenwriting for, like, he did the X-Men movies.
Well, X-Men 1 and 2.
X-Men 1 and 2. But one of the people that worked on that movie came up to him and he's like, yeah, I just found this really weird this movie that I like. It's just kind of weird.
Not
like obscure.
One of the people. It was the stunt director.
Oh, right. And came up to him and was like, yeah, you should see this movie. And then David Ayer's like, yeah, look at the back of the box. And then he goes, oh, that's you, huh?
It's really good.
It's like real Tony Hawk energy.
It
Yeah.
really fucking is. But no, from the sounds of it, like, everyone had fun. There was also originally supposed to be a third movie, but it ended up getting trapped in rights limbo.
Which is a shame, because I actually like this a lot. I would definitely watch a sequel to it if it kind of like stuck along the tones that it had for this one.
Yeah. There is a tone that also, when I was thinking of, like, man, especially thinking of David Hayter, like, and especially with the way these character looks, like, he looks like a full motion video adventure game protagonist.
He does, but there's not enough tits on the window.
And everything can be tender loving care.
That's all I think about.
Yeah, I was thinking like Darkseid 1 and like
he's not enough of a schlub is the thing though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He'd be in something like that Sewer Shark game.
Yeah.
He'd absolutely be one of the pilots just totally losing his shit about how great this run's gonna be.
I was gonna say, wasn't like the bad guy in Sewer Shark like he was like a very key role in like some sitcom? Look that But yeah, this movie has that energy to it.
It's great. The acting quality is fucking all over the place.
Um,
And it's really hard to pull off. First, it's hard to pull off a 2-hour film. It's also really hard to pull off a 2-hour film that's really not that great, and yet all of those disparate elements come together to kind of make it a good film.
Like I said, it's pure fucking schlock, but it's fun for it.
Yeah.
I guess in that case, is there any last things we want to go for your rank?
I think I'm good.
Carnival, Torpo?
Yeah, I'm good.
No, I'm good. I've pretty much said my piece. Like, there's not a whole lot to say about this.
All right. So in that case, let's go ahead and rank this. So we're going to rank this using our normal 1 to 21 scale, with 3 extras. 1 being absolute mastercraft, can't really get. I should say is a pinnacle of its genre and various other things. 21 being that there is incredibly little ironic value you can get out of it, even if you're going to watch it for like goof. It's still kind of painful if you're going to do that. So with that, Axe, what number would you give this?
At the minimum of 4.
Okay. Carnival.
See, I had to take a look at this because this was like my first instinct is like, let me just see where Soul Brain is, and it's like Soul Brain's at a 9, and I'm thinking because it's like this feels solidly like within 8-9 range for me because it's like this is definitely the kind of like toku nonsense I like, but when it comes to some, it's just there's that middle holds it so much back where it would go higher for me. It's just if it wasn't for that just middle that just drags the film.
All right, Torpo.
Oh, you really got to do this to me, don't you? I don't know. Like, I'm genuinely fucking unsure of this one. Like, I cannot pinpoint how I feel, but I would probably say, like, how would I compare this to the Mortal Kombat? I'd say like a 7 or 6 personally, maybe.
All right.
Fucking million things in 7.
So in that case, we have an interesting spread on this one. So I had 2 choices for this one. I just when I looked at it, I just kind of picked 8 as kind of the general range because I looked at Soul Brain, just thinking of the other Toku stuff, and I thought that it was a better overall thing than Soul Brain. But now that I'm looking at it, I think I might even want to push that up a little bit. The other one I was saying, because a lot of the things we were talking about were about how it being bad and good, I was also going to think 69.
Kind of look at 69 again to see what that rating exactly stands for.
So the description that we have for it is has a sound foundation, but something about it elevates in a way that competence can't. Description is a fever dream.
I can see the case for it. I definitely can see the case for it.
Yeah, I'm usually the one that fights against ranking in those 3, but yeah, I can see a little of that in there.
Yeah, I could definitely see like putting it in the normal. So I need to go on the right one. I can see putting in like the standard number scale, but I was thinking like if we did mention it a whole lot, so I figured I'd bring it up.
I think it's a good. Like upon you bringing that up, I think that's a good place to put it.
I have no strong feelings.
I mean, the other one it could possibly be a 666. So bad it's good, or at least fascinating.
But
And this movie does hit enough bad notes that it circles back around to being, interesting.
It does, but I think that in general the movie still kind of pulls it off. That's usually when the movie.
When I think 666, I think like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
So like, especially the 2 things we have in 666 right now, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Pac-Man. Those things had like a cursed feeling to them, where this just feels kind of campy schlock to it.
Yeah, like 666 requires kind of like there's a kind of. I mean, yes, but in addition to that, it kind of needs like there's a level of like where you seeing that's why I'm like laughing because it's just a curse of like there's a kind of level beyond
the cursed energy.
Yes. that this doesn't have. And the more I think about it, I think a 69 is a good like fit for this because it directly
It came and it went.
yeah it came yes, but also it like is very subtly aware of what it is and sticks to it, and I think that's what really pushes it to the 69 level.
There's a certain genuine quality to this that you can really appreciate.
Yes. There's a heart to it.
Also, fun fact: this is pretty much the only notable thing the suit actor ever worked on for the Guyver.
Which is a shame because that suit actor did pretty well with what they had.
That being said, I do feel, based on our discussion, that I think 69 is a good spot.
I won't
I
fight
get-
it.
That being said, if I did want to go number, I'd be willing to raise mine. Putting it in this, because if we look at the 6 and 7 area, 6 we got Labyrinth Mappy, Space Cobra, and the Hunt for Red October. Considering if the question is, would I rather watch that movie in its entirety versus those, Space Cobra, I might do it, but those other 3, I definitely would say yes. And like looking at the stuff at 7, which we got American Gladiators, Fantasy Kaleidoscope, Mortal Kombat, Nick Arcade, The Running Man, and East. Outside of like 1 or 2 of them, I would also definitely say yes. I would much rather watch that. When you get to 5, that is when it starts to become a little bit iffy. Because there we have Adventures in Moon Valley Game Center CX Season 1, Starcade, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie, and Uncut Gems. Stuff like Moomin Valley and Game Center CX makes it I could see it being the same tier, but I don't know, going much higher than that. But at 4 we have stuff like Jaws, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. That is, I'm thinking, like, I can see putting that in there, but I feel like 5, especially as where the other ones went, would probably be a good one. Though I'm trying to think, if this doesn't get 69, I'm trying to think of other films that would. Is also the thing.
Like I think
Wizards.
Yes,
Okay,
Wizards.
That might get 666.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, but
Yeah,
like, but I like either like you've made a strong case. I think 69 is a better fit just for the overall tone than like one of the more direct rankings. But either way, you want to split the difference.
I have no strong feelings, but also a case of like how hard do you want to be on these very specific numbers, because that has been an issue we have towed around for a long fucking time.
Yeah. I have no idea what's ever going to get in 420 for Media Delta.
Grinch Night.
Actually, no, that 420 would be Wizards. You're right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it is getting, as surprising as it is getting closer to the end of the year, and we do have another round of going through these again. So for this, I'm just going to put it at 69 just to save us from discussing the numbers.
Nice.
So there, we finally have. Shit, what number is this?
Not that close. We're only like 2/3 of the way through the fucking year. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Look,
Well,
compared
actually,
to
we're like
last
3/4 at this point, but
compared to last year, this year is moving like lightning. So
Yes.
yeah, that's because it's become the new normal. Is the problem?
Once
Yeah.
July is over, the year's pretty much done. You might as well just call it in and move on to the
Jeez,
next
wait
year.
for me up when September ends.
Shut up.
Holiday's a better song on that album.
You walk alone.
There's
You walk alone.
a number of better songs on that album, but that's neither here nor
I'm-
there.
I'm surprised that I had a direct-to-TV platform. This is also the first direct-to-TV one we've done.
This is
Wow.
direct to video.
Well, actually, no. DTV is probably direct-to-video.
It could be both direct to TV and direct to video.
No,
It could be
DTV
both.
means direct to video, though, is what
Yeah,
the point
but
I'm trying to get across. Yeah.
yeah, and also it's basically Western OVA.
Yeah, it had limited theatrical releases in certain countries, but like that doesn't fuck.
Yeah. Also, this is a. I should really just put Toku as one of these.
Yes,
but,
you just need a Toku
You
genre.
fucking should, especially if we're gonna keep fucking.
I do
doing
have
shit like
Hero,
this.
but that's about as good as we're gonna
It's
get.
not a fucking sandwich.
You have the ultra violence tone, right?
Yeah, hold on, I'm getting to it. I gotta put. Actually, for tone, it's technically sci-fi, or though should it be? I don't know if it's really fully gross. It's kind of gross.
Still gory.
You have varying levels. It's got gore. It's
Well-
not blood.
Well, I was thinking for like the tone, because I have the one that's like the green, like bio. We haven't done a movie that had it yet. This is pretty meaty. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yes, this is gory, so I'm gonna put gore plus.
You also might want to put a quick photosensitivity. There's not
yeah.
a lot, but there are a couple scenes.
Yeah. So is there anything we want to call out in music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art?
Music,
Action
charm, and
and
art.
yeah, charm
Alright.
and art, because that's for the set design and
Would you say campy charm for charm specifically?
It can't be.
Yes.
Yes.
Then maybe swap that out.
Yep. There. Also gonna put that in EA too.
Man, now you got me thinking how we'll never do anything like even vaguely body horror related because Lolo's a giant.
I mean, I can just sit back and just you talk about it.
Because you bring that up because I really want to do the thing.
yeah.
I'm itching. When I say that's my favorite movie, I literally mean that is my top film. That is my favorite fucking
believe
movie
you. The
ever.
thing is fucking incredible. It's such a good movie.
It is, and it's got Wilford Brimley in it.
It's got
Wilford Brimley in it.
It's got Wilford Brimley in it, and also a lot of gory shit, which I hate.
I know, but the gory shit's so good. I think it was Rick Bottin who did the special effects for that. It's fucking amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah, maybe that'll be like a special where it's basically you tell me how the movie is and I'll rank it based on your description.
It'll just be me and Axe high-fiving non-fucking stop though.
Yeah, I'll be real, because I'm not gonna be on that one, because I'm with Lolo on that. It's just nope. The thing is an excellent film. Don't get me wrong. It's not for me.
It's like The Fly, which thankfully there's no reason for ever to do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
God,
I
did
couldn't
that
make. Yeah, I couldn't justify trying to make somebody watch The Fly. That one's rough. Either one's rough.
Yeah. Either way, though, do we have any nays to this? Or...
So yays, I went ahead and put Campy Charm in again. I also put Simply Fun.
Actually, can we put Campy Charm for the action as well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
this is like pure Toku.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Nay, Snail, and Ruler.
Yes.
Yes.
It actually, I was looking at the IMDb. They actually list that when it was released in the UK, there was 25 minutes cut from this movie. However, it's the action parts that got cut
What?
because it was too gory, apparently.
Cowards!
But that does remind me, is when we get around to actually doing a Kamen Rider at some point, boy, that'll be fun.
So alternate versions. 27 minutes have been cut from the UK Region 2 DVD. This includes some elements of violence, a nightmare sequence, a scene in which Sean breaks up with Mickey, and scenes that further develop the relationship between Sean and Corey. However, 15 seconds of cuts made to the earlier video release, a bloody shooting scene and a throat stabbing, have been restored.
Okay, so wait. They cut the single tie-in to the previous movie, which is the ex-girlfriend thing. And they also cut any of the bits where the relationship between David Hayter and the lady lead develop?
Yeah.
That sounds that sounds almost like a better cut in my opinion.
It is. I'm just confused as to the reasoning.
Yeah, and then the German VHS release had 8 additional minutes cut.
Jesus Christ.
That was even more of the violence that got cut.
That's an entire conversation altogether about how rating systems and advisory boards are filled with ancient people who should have fucking retired 50 years ago.
Yeah, especially the German one, because if I remember correctly, German rating boards for movies and video games was incredibly strict.
Australia too.
Germany and Australia are some of the strictest boards there.
Yeah.
It's wild, but that's another conversation.
Australia
Yeah.
is fucking infamous, but yeah, no.
I think this looks good.
Yep, that is. Yeah, I think that is a good set of charms for this movie. So yeah, that is Guyver Dark Hero. It is a interesting movie, which thankfully it's weird because it is available to watch on YouTube. However, you can also buy it on YouTube, and the fact that both are there is kind of interesting. But yes, that'll do it for Guyver Dark Hero. So before we go, Axe, is there anything you want to plug?
Yes, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network.
All right, Carnival,
Your local bail or mutual aid fund.
Torpo.
Twitch.tv/TorpidTypist and @TorpidTypist on Twitter. And I would like to plug the whole Left in My Fucking Cave by the Titty Laser.
Yes. All right. So next up, we have one of the ones that I actually was kind of avoiding because I feel like it's a kind of more notorious one. However, upon actually watching it again with just out of the blue, is I think going to be an interesting discussion because this is one that has been like known as like a really like terrible movie. However, it's actually, upon watching it again, it's actually not as bad as I remember. But what we are watching next is the Super Mario Brothers movie, the 1993 movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. So that'll be fun. So, yep. Hopefully you tune into that one because that'll be an interesting episode. So, thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to see the list in which we have ranked every single thing we've done for Media Delta, you can go to r3.ldp.life in your browser. If you would like to watch the sister show that determines what could show up on Media Delta, that's Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can watch it live on Twitch at twitch.tv/LoloToPuzzlo or on YouTube at youtube.ldp.life. If you would like to discuss this episode with others, please join our Discord server by going to discord.ldp.life in your browser, which should give you a link. Thank you again for listening.